What's up, Ravens fans? It's time to hear from you guys in our Ravens Mailbag segment, and we got some good questions today. All three of the questions, by the way, are from Snapchat. We've been asking for those Snapchat questions, and we got some today, so make sure you follow us there at BLT Ravens. So let's just jump right into it. The first question today comes from Jay Pizzle 31, and the question is, do you guys think we're going to have a similar team to Joe Flacco's rookie season?
Well, when you think about 2008, you think about running the ball a lot, playing great defense, and making it all the way to the AFC Championship. So yeah, let's hope so.
Right.
Let's hope it's a lot like 2008. On defense, yes, I do think the Ravens are going to be a lot like that team. That team ranked second overall in total defense, and they were getting after it. This team, I think, could be second or even better on defense this season. Now, on offense, no, I don't think it's going to be like the 2008 unit. That unit ranked first in rushing attempts in the NFL by a large margin. I do think that this year's offense, it will run the ball more than it did last year or even in the past several years. But I don't think that it's going to swing all the way as far as it did in 2008, where it was so unbalanced. Let's look back at the 2010 offense, which I think the Ravens are going to look like this year. 2010 offense, you remember that one?
Not so much. I've heard about it. I've heard stories.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Joe Flacco had a 93.6 quarterback rating. That was the best quarterback rating of his career. Then you look at the balance. 489 passing attempts to 487 rushing attempts. So really balanced. I think that's where the Ravens offense is headed this year. Get balance. Let Joe Flacco thrive. I think it's going to look a lot like 2010.
All right, well, that's a good thing right there.
Yeah.
All right, so the next question today, this one comes from Zaire the Great. And the question is, will Danny Woodhead start over Terrance West at running back? You know, I think at the start of the season, it's going to be Terrance West. Kenneth Dixon is starting the year with a 4-game suspension, so he's going to be out of the mix. I do think that Danny Woodhead is going to be heavily involved in this offense. I mean, the Ravens went out and signed him as an unrestricted free agent. They signed him early in the process. He was one of the first running backs off the market.
They really wanted him.
The reason they do that is because you want him. You want to have him highly involved. I think that, you know, everyone kind of looks at Danny Woodhead and they say third down back. Yeah, I think he can be a third down back. I can also think he can play on some second downs. I think he'll get in the mix there on first downs. I think that he's going to be, what he will bring to this offense is somebody that can catch the ball out of the backfield, be a chain mover, be a versatile piece. There's a lot of versatility that he brings to the mix, and I think the Ravens are excited about how he's going to fit into this system.
There's been a lot of talk about wide receivers who can move the chains. Let's not forget about running backs like Danny Woodhead who can do the same thing. Our last question comes from This Is Too Hard. Yeah, this is really hard answering these fan questions.
Yeah, I know, right?
So the question is, who do you think will be the most productive receiver currently on the roster? I'm going to point to the most productive on last year's roster, and that's Mike Wallace. I don't think anything changes this year with that. I mean, the Ravens had the option of whether to pick up Mike Wallace's option this year, and they did it. And it was an expensive decision by them, but it was a sign to me that says, Mike Wallace, we count on big things from him, and we're going to give him a lot of opportunities. So I think Mike Wallace, who topped 1,000 receiving yards last year, he has every chance to do it again this year. I mean, he got off to a really hot start last year. If he can play the way he did at the beginning of last season, for all 16 regular season games, whew, this guy could have some major production.
Well, let me ask you this. What if the Ravens, this says currently on the roster, if there's somebody else that comes on the roster, whether it's a Bolden or a free agent, you still think it's going to be Wallace?
Yes.
I would agree.
I don't think whoever they bring in, I don't think they're bringing in a number one. And let's not forget about Rashad Perryman. I think his numbers are definitely going to rise from where they were last year as right now the number 2 wide receiver, and I think that's not changing.
All right, so that does it for us on this edition of Ravens Mailbag, but as always, we love to hear from you guys, so send in those questions every single week. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.